Okay, so welcome back, students. So as I told you, I will do another problem on development. Okay, so this is a combination of two things actually, one cone and one cylinder. Okay, so this is actually easier. So this is a practical problem where we are going to do a funnel. I hope all of you know what a funnel is, right? So funnel is a hopper-like structure usually used for filtering, not filtering, for pouring liquids. Can be usually either fuels, kerosene, diesel, or petrol, or even milk. What we have, that's called a funnel. So if you want to make a funnel of a particular dimension, what should be its development? That's the question here. So draw the development of lateral surface of a funnel consisting of a cylinder and a frustum of a cone. Right, that's what I told you. It is a combination of two things. One small cylinder on the bottom and the top portion is actually a cone. The diameter of the cylinder is 20 mm and the top face diameter of the funnel is 80 mm. The height of the frustum and the cylinder are 60 mm and 40 mm respectively. So they have given you the dimension, they have not given you the sketch. So what you have to do is first draw the drawings to the actual dimensions, because otherwise you cannot draw the development. Based on the dimensions, whatever we get, we have to do the development of this particular funnel. Okay, so we will start with drawing the orthographic view. Okay, so this is the cylinder, 20 mm in diameter as per the data given. The diameter of the cylinder is 20 mm is given, and the height of the cylinder is 40 mm. Right, that's given in the question. The height of the frustum means of the cone, and cylinder is 60 and 40 respectively. That means the height of the cylinder is 40 mm. So this is the front view of the cylinder. So I'll take it in the same axis. Okay, you need to know how to draw this from the center. This is because this drawing is also not told, right? Only the dimensions are given. So you can only draw it using, with the actual dimension only. If you draw, you will get it. Okay, so they have told you that the funnel is having a shape on the top that is 80 mm. So it has to be from the center. So this you can start. 20 mm is the diameter, 40 mm is the height of the cylinder. Then from the center you have to take the axis, students. This is again important. So this height is there, no? That has to be 60. From here to here it should be 60. Okay, so you cannot simply draw a line wherever you want. Okay, so from here to here it should be 60, because that is given. The height of the frustum and cylinder is 60 and 40. So height of the cylinder is 40, height of the frustum is 60 mm. So from this height it should be 60 mm till here. So you need to draw a line of 60 mm, and exactly from the center of this line it should be 80. 80 means 40 on this side, 40 on this side. Okay, and then you have to join it from here to this end and from here to this end. This can only be done by drawing. Okay, so this is a funnel. This is what they have told you. You have to make a funnel of this particular dimension. So height is 60, the top face is 80. Okay, so you can see the drawing over here. So how this is done, I just want to repeat it because you may get confused with the drawing. So first you will draw the cylinder. All the dimensions of the cylinder is given. This is set to be 20 and this is set to be 40. So you will draw that, and they have only told that the height is 60 of the frustum, because it is not the complete cone also. The frustum of the cone, half portion is cut here, isn't it? So this is at a height of 60 and the base is 80 of the cone. So this side should be 40, this side should be 40, and then it has to be joined. Okay, now you have to draw the development of this. So to draw the development of this, it's a two objects, right? So two different development has to be done. Got it? Two different, it's very easy actually. Two different development has to be done. One for cylinder, one for cone. Correct. One has to be drawn for the cylinder, one has to be drawn for the cone. But now to draw the cone, we have to get the complete cone, because cylinder can be done very easily. Dimension is already given, so you can do it. Cone, when you do, we have only the frustum, no? So the drawing has to be completed. Unless I get the total cone, I will not get the slant height of the cone or the generator of the cone, isn't it? I only have the portion of the cone here. So what I have to do, the drawing which I have already done here, right? From there, I need to extend this line further. Still I get the apex of the cone, because right now what I am having is only the frustum here. Part of base is there. Base is 80. But I don't know what is the slant height. Now I need this height. Without this height, I cannot draw the development of this with this part. So what I have to do now, properly, that's what I told, not rough sketch, properly you have to draw. This is 80 and this height has to be perfectly 60, and then from here you are drawing the line till here, no? Same line has to be extended further, and this line also has to be extended further, so that will meet at one point. So that is a complete representation of the cone. Okay, so complete cone was there, but we had to cut this cone till here so that we can be using that as a funnel, isn't it? So now let us find out what is the actual dimension of the cone. So for that, what you have to do, you need to extend those lines like this. I hope you can see it, and then find out the slant height. So you have to get this particular distance, because this is nowhere given in the data anywhere. You have to find out, and this is the length. So it has to be 67.08 from here to here, plus 23.26 is this extra length. So the total slant height is, if you add the 67 plus 23, whatever distance you get, that will be the total slant height of the cone. Okay, so that will be an extra part of the construction. Draw it very light. Okay, now we have to do two developments. First one is with respect to the cone, second is with respect to cylinder. Well, I think first we will do the cylinder one, because that is easier. Okay, so we'll just take, as I told you, we'll take separately development A and development B. Development A is for the cylinder and development B is for the cone. Okay, now I want you people to tell me, I mean, of course you can't tell me directly, but you have to think, how did you get this length 62.83 for cylinder? Okay, cylinder data is given here, right? The diameter of the cylinder is 20, height is 40. So when I open this particular cylinder, of course it will look like a rectangle, isn't it? I will get a sheet. That sheet has been rolled in such a way that it has become a cylinder of 20 mm diameter and 40 mm height. Now when I open that cylinder, what is the length that is required? In other case it was very easy. Here also it's very easy. But in previous example, what I told for prism, triangular prism example I've taken, no? So it was 40 mm was the side. So I told you, when you open that totally, it will be 40 plus 40 plus 40, 120, and we were able to draw 120 line. So here I'm saying, when you open the cylinder, it's a cylinder, right? So diameter is 20. So when I open it, what will be the length? How do you get that length? And directly it is written here. I mean, the dimension has already come here. It is 62.83. But how did you get that 62.83? When you open that, you should be getting 62.83. How? So what is that length equal to? Okay, so I will leave it to you. You can tell me in the, when you write the assignment, when you submit the assignment, you can tell me how did you get this 62.83. Okay, and the height of that is how much? 40. So this will not change, isn't it? So height is 40. This length is 62.83. It's very simple. I think most of you would have answered it now. You already know what it is. But even then, let me just see, out of the whole class, how many of you have actually known how to get this particular length? How is it 62.83? Okay, so this height is 40, no doubt about that. So this is total and this is 40. Directly we will draw. You will get the development of the cylinder, isn't it? It's pretty simple, because there is no cylinder is not been cut into any portion and all that. Then it becomes difficult. you also have those questions. Okay, let's say in this case it is not there, but if you imagine that there was a section plane cutting the cylinder at an angle of 45 degrees, then you will get a different shape like this. Here it will cut like this, and different points arc you will get. Okay, you can try those problems also in the sketchbook. Okay, but anyways, in this case it's just the full cylinder and they've just asked you to open it because it's a funnel. Okay, so there is no cylinder is not cut, only the cone is being cut. Okay, so that completes the development of cylinder. Very simple. Development of part A is over, but now separately down somewhere you have to do development of B, the cone, and frustum of a cone. Half portion is cut, isn't it? So now we have to go there. So this was a part of parallel line method, isn't it? You've taken the same just simply you have drawn the length and width of that, but now we have to do the cone. So for drawing the cone I need the radius of the slant height or the generator of the cone. So now I will take this total length whatever I have got as a radius in my compass, and I will draw an arc, taking a center and drawing an arc. Okay, so I will take that length here, slant height. I'll not add that. 67 plus 23 point, whatever distance you get, you can directly measure it. You need not add it actually. You need not directly take it in the compass from that point to the apex till the base, the generator length, and keep it at one particular point, and let's say you start drawing an arc. Okay, now you start the arc. Okay, where will you stop it? How will you stop that particular arc? Because in the case of previous problem which I have solved, which is pyramid, there also I just randomly drew the arc to some extent, but I properly knew the side of the base, isn't it? I knew the side of the base, that was 40 mm, so I could cut it. It's a square pyramid, 40, 40, 40, 40 I have cut, and then I got the 4 faces. But this is a cone, it doesn't have a face. So the arc whatever you have drawn has to stop somewhere. So how will I know the length of the arc, where to stop it? So either I have to know the length of the arc to stop, which is not possible very easily to find out, or I need to know the angle, isn't it? I need to know the angle. Even if I know the length of the arc, I actually need to find the angle, so that I know till what angle I can draw. So how to find out that? So there is a formula to find the angle here. So it's written here, you can see that angle is equal to bigger diameter of the cone divided by 360 into true length divided by true length. Okay, or the diameter of the cone, that is 80, divided by this length. Okay, divided by this length, slant height, into 360 will give you the angle. Okay, so I will draw that and then explain you. Okay, so you will get that angle and then you will draw the arc. So now this is nothing but the angle theta. This is S and this is R. So you are finding out S is equal to R theta. Okay, so without knowing the angle I cannot draw this particular length. So to find the angle I have the option, that is bigger diameter of the cone, that is 80 mm, divided by the length into 360 degrees. That will give you the angle. So that is nothing but S is equal to R theta. So theta is equal to S by R. So sorry. Okay, so you will find the angle. So whatever angle you get, till that angle you will measure in the protractor and you get the other end of the cone. So now this is again not over here. So once you find the angle, so this case, as I mentioned, this length is there now, whatever you have drawn, this is equal to this length. This is the length you are taking from here to here. From here to here you will take that as the radius and draw the arc. Okay, until where you will draw the arc depending on this angle. I don't know what exactly you're going to get. Let's say you get around say 130 or 140 degrees. So 140 degrees you will measure here and you will draw one more line and stop that particular arc there. So that is the required development of the entire cone. But we don't have the entire cone here, isn't it? The cone has been cut here. This much portion of the cone is removed from the top. So this some portion has to be removed from the top. So how much it has to be removed? That is this distance, 23.26. Now we have drawn a radius of the total length, isn't it? So now measure 23.26 in the compass, keep it over here and measure 20, that is the radius, and cut the arc over this. So when you draw an arc like this much portion, the bottom portion will be the development and the top portion has been removed. Okay, so you will draw an arc like this and join the outer lines. So this is the required material for drawing the funnel. This is the top portion, the frustum of the cone, and this is the cylinder. So when you take this, roll it, you get the cylinder and you get a frustum, and then together when you solder it, you will get the required funnel. Got it? So that is development of part B. Okay. Development of part B. So development of part A is separate, development of part B is separate. So together when they roll it, fold it, and you get the cylinder and you get the frustum of the cone, put it together, and at the joints if you solder it, you get the funnel. Okay, so that will complete another problem on development. So we have done one problem on parallel line method, the next problem on radial line method, and then we had done a combination of two different components, that is one cylinder and one cone. Okay, so that is the third one. So 3 problems we have completed right now. Okay, so I'll just explain the other parts of this, some problems. So this is a hexagonal prism. Okay, hexagonal prism problem where it is cut by a section plane in this particular angle. So we'll take the question here. The base is 20, axis height is 50, resting on HP on one of its faces parallel to VP. It is cut by a section plane perpendicular to VP and 45 degrees to HP, passing through the right corner of the top face of the prism. Draw the sectional top view and development of the lateral surface of the prism. So this is one or easier problem actually. So I will start with the condition, corner condition again. That is because of the question that is given. Okay, the height is 50, so you will draw the top and front view first. It's a prism, so when it's a prism, it's a parallel line method you have to follow, so it's easy. So you draw the hexagon, you draw the front view, and this time the section plane is cutting in such a way that it is at an angle of 45. One condition is given, and there's one more condition given here. It's cut by a plane which is inclined at 45 and passing through the right corner of the top face. That means it has to pass through here. So from where it is 45, it is at an angle of 45. That means from here you have to take 45 degrees. Okay, even though they have mentioned the 45 degrees here, you have to consider that from here it is passing from the top right corner. So this angle is supposed to be 45. From there you have to draw it like this. Okay, so that is done. So it is how we are doing it. So we have to draw the development of this. So when you draw the development of this one, it's a hexagon of side 20. So when you open that, unfold that hexagon, you will get 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 26 times. So the total length will be how much? 120. Right, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. And the height is 50. So directly height is 50. Anyways, you have drawn this, you can directly project it from here. And let's say you draw lines 20, 20, your heights you can draw initially. And since it's a parallel line method, so it's very easy actually. You can see here, this is 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the naming is not done, but I'll just tell you the name. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. On the back side we have 5, and on the back side we have 6. So it is 2 bracket 6, 3 bracket 5. So you need not actually take the radius here and measure every time. You can directly draw parallel lines. That is what you mean by parallel line method actually. Nothing wrong if you take the radius here, keep it here and cut. Take the radius here, keep it and cut. It's one and the same. But since we are drawing keeping the xy line common here, same, so directly we can project it, no? So from 1 you project it here, you get the point 1. From 2 you project it, you get 2. From 3 you project it, you get 3. 4 is anyways on the top point. So 5 you project it, you will get 5. From 6 you project, you will get 6. 1 is again on the same point. So you get point number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 1. And since this point is being cut over here, this much portion is been removed. So that portion has to be drawn lighter. The remaining portion, whatever is there, is darker. So that has to be made dark. Okay, so that will be the final development. I'm just giving you some of the examples just to know, because the first problem that I did in the case of parallel line method, that looks a little difficult, right? There were so many cuts that is taken place. So here you have only one section, so directly you can take the points. This is only one section plane. So point number 1, project it on 1, 2, project it on 2, 3, project it on 3, 4 on 4, 5 on 5, 6 on 6, and last point is 1. So it is A, B, C, D, E, F, and the last point is A again. And write development inside this. So that is how you do for parallel line method. Similarly, if I take one more problem on radial line method, so this is for the pyramid, which I have already done. I am just explaining the concept one more time. But one thing I would like to explain here, I have just taken this problem for that reason only, that when the problem is given where the pyramid is resting on edge, then you cannot consider this as the true line. Okay, in the previous problem which I have done, in that what had happened is the condition itself was saying that it is resting on the corner. The previous video which I did, where the pyramid was resting on the corner and there was a truncated surface, the section plane was cutting it, right? So I told you, you take the slant height as the true length and you take the radius and draw the arc. I have not told you anything else, isn't it? I just told you the line which is parallel to xy line should be considered as true length and you have to draw. But when you have because this type of question also will be there, which is similar, but the condition will say that it is resting on the edge, not on the corner. So what you have to do here is, please observe here, I'll just zoom this area and tell you. What you need to do is, see, you will have the edge here, right? So you would have got the front view like this. That is from O to B and O to A. And you would have directly, you could, if I had not told you this, you would have directly taken this length and taken that as the radius and you would have drawn the arc. But that will be wrong. Why? Because the line OB or OA, they are not parallel to HP. Sorry, not parallel to VP. It has to be parallel to XY line. They are inclined, isn't it? They are already inclined. If you can see here in the top view, this line is there, no? OB and OA, which you are taking as reference, they are not straight. They are already inclined. So that cannot be true length. When can it be true length? If the edges were parallel to XY line. If they were parallel, right? So whenever you draw the problem in corner condition, it will be parallel, isn't it? If you draw this square in corner condition, in every case, in corner condition, the line will be parallel. But whenever it is in the edge condition, it won't be parallel. What you have to do, you have to make it parallel to get the true length. So only one additional thing that you have to do is, from OB, from the top view, take your compass, measure O to B, and then draw an arc with that radius such that it will become intersect with the horizontal line. Got it? I'll repeat it again. This length OB, or you can do it on the other side also, no problem, but I'm just explaining it from this side. OB, you will take it as a radius, and then with this radius you will start drawing an arc like this, and you will draw one parallel line to XY line. So wherever this arc intersects with that horizontal line, no, from that point you will extend it upwards, and then you will draw one more line to that extended portion. So this is your true length. Got it? So that length has to be considered. That is the true length. If you take this length and observe this OB and the OE, the new line what you've got, there is a difference in length. So OB is the apparent length, OE is the true length. Okay, all these things were told in projection of lines, isn't it? Long back. You get two lines. What is a true line? What is true length? What is apparent length? So this is the actual thing. What do you mean by true length and what do you mean by apparent length? The line which are inclined to any of the planes will not be the true length. When the lines are parallel to the planes, then only we can get the true length. So this is what it means. So OB right now is not true length. It is already inclined. So you are rotating it and you are making it straight. Now it becomes true length. So when you project it upwards and get this particular length, that will be true length, OE. And you will take that length OE to draw this particular arc, radius. Okay, so this side should be equal to the true length. And all the points whatever you get here, in this case it is not there. If it was considered to be the same question where it is cutting like this, if there was a section plane cutting here, then all these points should have been projected to the true length, and from their point you will take the arc here or here, whatever points you are going to get. Is that clear? Remaining things are all same. We have already explained this problem earlier, but I have not told you about the edge condition. That is why I am telling it now. So if there a condition is given as edge, you will rotate it in the top view, make it parallel, and then get the true length, and using that true length as the radius you are drawing the arc. Okay, so this is nothing but this OE, whatever is there, is this length OE, and you are drawing the arc. Then you are joining to all the sides, and if there is any section plane cutting here, then you will not take these points, you will project it to the true length from every point, and that length you will take and cut it on this particular line. Okay, so this is how you have to draw. So I have not actually completed the problems, but I have only told you the different varieties of problem that is going to come. I have done one problem on prism, one problem on pyramid, one problem on cylinder as well as cone together, and now I have just explained you the other varieties of problems that could be there. Okay, so I expect all of you to do those three problems which I did today in your sketchbooks. Okay, and that should be sufficient. You do those three problems and submit. And if you feel that you need more problems to be done on developments rather than isometry, then we can do developments, or else you can concentrate on isometry only. Okay, thank you.